held us up for so long. The ministers of these countries get it, and they want it finished as badly or worse than you. Next slide. This is a shot from Pakistan. The new government, within days of taking office, said the last government failed you, the people of Pakistan. It didn't finish polio eradication. That's what they chose to illustrate the failures of the previous regimes, and by that then go on record that they would finish the job of eradication. And they are doing new things in Pakistan. In the past, we have had a great deal of trouble holding people accountable for this failure to reach kids, because this is the results we got from every campaign. The whole map looked green, like every child was being reached. And when we asked the federal leadership to hold the districts accountable, they said, well, we really can't. And so they made a big change, and they started using just finger marking data. If a kid's not marked, he's not counted. And you can see here, all of a sudden, the district leadership are on their toes. They're being held accountable for reaching kids. This is a piece from the news, a national important newspaper from the southern part of Pakistan. As you can see, from 2 days ago, I checked it out on the way here. And you can see they set up now a task force for Karachi to get the job finished, and they say legal action will be taken against all organizations, schools, etc., creating hurdles for the vaccination of our children. This is a new commitment that we've never seen before, a new political will, a new recognition that they need to get the job finished. So your vision is in a lot safer hands than it was 12 months ago even. As we talk about the situation of Asia, of course, I do want to take a minute to talk about the other challenges we face in the area of security. Part of our challenge in the failure to vaccinate Afghanistan has been because of the security problems. Here is the vehicle that 2 of my staff were traveling in 2 weeks ago when they were attacked by a suicide bomber, and both of them died. There are people doing heroic things to try and finish the job of eradication, but they're making it very, very clear that they are doing this because it is a means to a much bigger end. It's establishing access to children that are never accessed. It's trying to find peace in times of war so that there can be some future for children. And the important thing was, this is a headline for 4 days after Dr. Kakar and Tahiri were killed. It's a headline in one of the Canadian newspapers, because the big question was, well, what happens now? Does everything grind to a halt? The newspaper said, no, the ambitious Afghan polio effort proceeds despite slaves. And people called and said, well, what's going on? And what's going on is this. A Taliban spokesman said the next day, we did not need to kill doctors. We are all for the eradication campaign. They said this was military vehicles people were traveling in. And there you see our representatives saying, we are going ahead with this campaign because our Afghan partners, the Afghan people, want their kids protected against this disease. We will find ways to rejig the way we operate in these places and get the job of eradication finished. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a tremendous resolve everywhere in the world in the face of the most difficult disasters that you're seeing on the newspapers to get the job finished. And this is the reason that we went into eradication in the first place. Not to score an easy win and say, look, we've eradicated another disease. It was because large parts of the world, in large parts of the world, children were not being reached with the most basic of health services, and that wasn't good enough in the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, the leadership of Rotary, you're using your political capital to get leaders around the world to expend their political capital on polio is invaluable. DK Lee, President DK, yesterday addressed the UN at a special summit on the MDGs, the Millennium Development Goals, and he spoke mainly on polio. That had a phenomenal impact. Within minutes, thanks to DK, my BlackBerry almost stopped working because it was jammed with people talking about the commitment of Rotary to finishing the job of eradication and reaching all children. The world listens to Rotary. Now,